all y'all fucking doubted me. That right there just sums up Penny's season in the most perfect way possible. I mean, he was expected to be Seattle's backup back, third back. He was just a depth piece at this point. And then he came into the year. Carson got hurt. He got hurt. Collins got hurt. And then all of a sudden, week 14 coming, he was the starter. And from week 14 on, he just lit up every team he faced. He was putting up 100 yards a game left and right. I mean, statistically, he had about as many yards and more touchdowns in that 5-week span than he did his whole entire career. But what did Penny do? Was it sustainable? Was it something that he can progress on? Can he get better at? Can he keep this up for a whole season? Well, today I'm going to look at some of his stats and not just yards per attempt and his actual rushing numbers, but I'm going to look at his expected yards per attempt, what he produced on himself, stuff like that to really show how big of an impact he was. And then I'm going to go over some of his film. I'm going to go over 3 or 4 clips of moves that he did and some things he did right, some things he did wrong to really see if Penny is someone that Seattle can trust in the future and look to lean on coming into their upcoming year. Penny's first 3 years of his career, he had 161 rushing attempts, 823 yards, only 5 touchdowns, but another key fact, he was getting over 5 yards per attempt, which means that when he was getting carries, he was making progress, he was making plays. He's always had that big playmaking ability in him. Now it just comes down, can he stay healthy and can he do it for over his season? Now from week 14 to week 18, we see Penny put up 92 attempts, which is basically half the attempts he did in 3 years, 671 yards, which is about 200 yards short than what he did in his whole career, and 6 TDs, which is one more TD than he did in his whole career, and 7.29 yards per attempt, which is 2 yards over his career average coming into the season. Now the 7.29 yards per attempt it's not going to be sustainable. I think he'll fall back to his career average of 5 yards per attempt. I think he can do something like that, relatively speaking. As long as his O-line keeps blocking well, he'll have a great next season, I think, will with Seattle. But his O-line did a great job. The scheme he fit well in. There's a bunch of things that led to Penny's success. But let's start looking into the actual personalized stats of Penny and just look at some of the things he did himself. To look at is that he got over 197 rushing yards over his expected amount of yards he'd get. And then he also gave himself 3.89 yards per carry, which means on his own he created about 4 yards for running. And if he's getting 4 yards running his own, and he's getting 7.29 yards, that means he's getting roughly 3 yards of carrying on his own. 3 yards from his O-line, which is super nice, super impressive. Another one of the stats like this is that his EPA per rush attempt, which is expected points added. And now his expected points added per rushing attempt was 0.14, which means every rushing attempt he was expected to add 0.14 points, which is super impressive and that's a very high number for most running backs. So I don't think he'll be able to sustain a number like that, but it's the highest it's been in terms of guys who had colony stats towards him. I'll probably post some image right now that shows that he had people who had the amount of attempts he had did not put up as many EPA points as he did, which is just super impressive and showed how much of an impact he had with the Seahawks. Now I'm going to show you guys 3 different sets of film that one shows things Penny did good at, things the Seahawks O-line did good at, and then one that shows Penny's kind of one of his bad flaws and stuff like that. And then I'm going to end it on one of my favorite highlights that Penny had this whole season. It was just such a beautiful play, in my opinion, of what he was able to do. It wasn't an insane run or something like that. It was just an 8-yard gain. But I thought how he got those 8 yards was super impressive. So let's hop right into those films and let's break them down for you. First play we're going to look at is a simple play where the Bears come out in a cover 2 look with 7 guys at the line of scrimmage. And essentially, Seattle's going to take Gerald Everett, and then they're going to take the guard on Gerald Everett's side, and they're both going to pull them towards Dwayne Brown's side to attempt to create an opening in the middle, while they're going to have the 3 guys on the left seal those guys off, and then essentially they're going to hope that there's a gap that opens in the middle, and Penny's going to attempt to hit that gap hard and quickly. Now let's see how that play folds out. Penny kind of gets started step, and he hits a little hole. It's not a big hole, but he hits it hard, he hits it fast, and he goes quickly. Now, one thing I want to point out is that the Bears did a solid job covering this play, but Penny was patient. He waited for the hole to open, and then he hit it hard when given the opportunity, which is something I love about Penny's game, and I think he can do a lot. He does it a lot. When he sees one hole open, he hits that hole hard. So then the next example I have is Seattle basically running the same exact play where Gerald Everett and Gabe Jackson are both going to pull towards Dwayne Brown's size and hope to opening at center and letting him hit that gap hard. But this time the Bears do a terrible job guarding it in their cover 2 look with 7 guys in the box. And Rashaad in the O-line does a great job setting up Penny. Penny hits the hole hard, and let's see what gain he gets from it. Since there's basically no one there, Penny beats one guy, and off to the races. Now he's in a foot chase where number 4 catches up to him, and Penny makes a great play, just being able to use his burst of speed, and the O-line set him up beautifully. That was great execution, great play calling. Everything was perfect on that play by Seattle. Now, this next play I'm going to show you is against the Niners, and this time it's going to be one of Penny's flaws. So the Niners come out in a cover 1 look with 7 guys at the line of scrimmage. I keep pointing out how many guys are at the line of scrimmage because Penny ran against a light box most of the time. He was a below average on 8 guys in the box or not. He averaged less amount of guys in the box than most running backs who had the amount of attempts he did. Seattle did a great job making sure the box was light when I ran with him, so we had the best chances to explode and get a big time play, which I thought Seattle did a great job with. Now, let's look at what happens on this play. So on this play, we're going to see Curhan seal off Bosa, and Penny should have just not, that juke move. That's one of those plays where he's got to recognize that he can't juke on that move, and he has to go right at the guy instead of trying to go through him. But since he tried to go right after the guy, instead of going after the guy, tried to juke him, and the juke leads to him going right into Bosa's hand, and Bosa's tackled him for a short gain, when in reality, he could have gone 5 or 6 yards off that play had he just hit the guy. These 3 plays that I just showed kind of highlight some of the biggest things I saw that explain why Penny had such a breakout and what things Seattle needs to replicate for him to have a successful next year if he stays with the Seahawks. The first one is he has to be able to read the holes and he has to be able to hit it hard. That's what he was doing. He was doing well when he saw, like, if there was only one hole, he was doing a good job hitting that hole hard, but once there was times where the play kind of got too open for him and he would really just try to make a move when he didn't have to. And another flaw he has is that if you hit him behind the line, he's not going to make anything special. He lives off that quick burst. He doesn't know how to use his body yet. He's doing a better job at it, but he physically isn't there yet to the point where if you hit him at the line of scrimmage, he's most likely gonna get stopped. Now, that's just one of his flaws. Another one is, now, I do like to say he has great athletic ability. The speed, the burst, the decision making, it's all there. It's all above average for most running to compare to most running backs, I will say. I do think he can have a successful next year with Seattle. If he stays with Seattle, I think he could potentially take over Carson's spot if they wanted to go that route. I don't know if they will, but he could do it if he was asked to do it. Now, I'm going to end it on this next clip of my favorite Penny highlight, where he essentially, it's not a huge play. Gerald Everett's going to come in. He's supposed to make a block on Chandler Jones. He misses that block, and Penny is going to have Chandler Jones one-on-one. He's going to out-juke Chandler Jones, and he's just going to hit it up the sideline for a solid 8-yard gain. It's one of my favorite plays when I watch Penny. It's a play that I point to immediately when I see him do it.